Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Let me get us dialed in here and we'll get started. Probably a few more people are still coming in, I would imagine. All right. I'm used to doing these things in person. It's kind of weird to me. Oh, wow, my slide moved. Sorry. Reel's behind there somewhere.
Hello, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I did it just to mess with you, Christian. Nobody else.
Appreciate it. Looking good today, Tina, just like me.
I know. We look just alike. Like we're just like brother and I'm like your mom though, because I'm old. Christian, are you going to put your camera on or do you look like shit? Are you telling me I look like shit? All right, we've got Jody and I see Cherie and I see Rachel and I see Martin and I see Taylor and Christian and Jacqueline. Rachel, I got you. We got Susie, Annabelle, Ashley. Lots. Oh, there you are, Christian. Yay, we got Gary, quite contrary. We got him on
Romper room again.
Yes, we're doing romper room. I actually need to buy one of those magnifying glass where my eyeball looks really big. So funny. Who on here knows of romper room?
Gary.
Gary,
I know Gary does.
Jody does too.
Jody does.
Come on, Cherie, you don't know?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one that brought it up.
Oh.
Tina and I have joked about it in the past when she does that.
Yeah, I see Gary and I see Christian. All right, guys, your assignment is to look up romper room and see what the heck that was all about. I think they're all on some kind of drugs. All right. So today's market update, I'm going to walk you through some things, and Josh is going to be joining us, Jelsing from PGS. He's going to walk you through some updates. We'll talk a little bit of strategy, kind of show you where we are today with us as a team, where we stand in the market right now, how we're doing, not individually, but just as a whole, and talk about some stats there. So pay attention because I'm going to be going through numbers, and I know that can get a little boring, but at the same time, it's good information for you to say, wow, we're actually doing really good here. And wow, we need a little work there. And what can I do to contribute to that? So just to kind of get your wheels turning on that, let you kind of know what's happening in the market. So you have a better understanding for you to be able to speak with your clients. Right now, we are speaking a whole different language in real estate. And my question for you today, for you to think about is, have you learned or are you learning that language? If you're not, you're going to be missing out. So I do teach the language on what days do I do it, guys? Mondays and Wednesdays, I think it is 9 to 10 in the morning. So we'd love to have you on script and role play and go through those. I also have a Slack channel for that, that I'm posting all the different scripts that apply to this market. The conversation changes all the time. And some of you are out there getting blindsided. I can tell by the numbers. So we'll go through that. But yeah, go ahead. Somebody's talking? All right. Well, let's get started. We'll cut through this information here for you. All right. So right now, our core values are, they're not changing. I thought it was going into the market update. Responsible, reliable, rich in mindset, respectful, and real. So we're responsible for our own business, right? We're responsible for our clients. We're responsible for the hard work that you're putting in, the hustle, really learning what you need to learn in this market to survive and thrive in this market. So responsible comes in a lot of different, obviously colors, right? As far as what you're responsible for every day. Number one, you're responsible for yourself, right? You're the one who has to get out of bed every morning and make it happen. Reliable, rich in mindset, respectful, and real. Okay, so how are we doing? I'm going to go there first before I go into what's happening in San Diego, Riverside County area. Okay, so I just did a screenshot of the team goals out of CSU. Some of you understand this, some of you maybe don't yet, but I'm going to just give you an overview. the top line shows our totals against our goal. Our goal is 400 units. We're forecasted, the forecasted volume closed and under contract volume, how much we have under contract. And then you have the forecasted units. So we have, it looks like 20 under contract right now, according to this, because 225 forecasted, we've got 205 closed. And then we're pacing at a 1.89 million in volume, and we're actually at 165 million. So we're in the red in many aspects. So we got some catching up to do, right? The other stat we look at, and I'm going to go a little deeper on these, is your conversations, I believe, are anything over 2 minutes on Follow Up Boss. If it's not on Follow Up Boss, it didn't happen. Then you set your appointment, which is done by the appointment form in Follow Up Boss. Either the ISAs or yourself are setting those. And you fill out the appointment form and it goes into this slot here, automatically goes over. You meet with the appointment, you get a disposition form, you fill that out, and then it clunks that number into the buyer appointment met in CSU for you. Buyers signed, we don't really subscribe to that, even though the numbers are in there. Those are buyer rep agreements. I subscribe to it. I stopped preaching it years ago because people gave me a lot of pushback, so much overwhelmingly that I was like, whatever. So do your thing. Anyway, buyers under contract. We all know what that is, right? And then how many we have closed that have made it to the finish line. That's what that stat, those numbers represent. Down below represents the listing appointment set, listings met, listings signed, and under contract. Now, listings signed are listings signed. Does that make sense? We signed a listing. Listings under contract and listings closed. The little number, the gray numbers below all those dark black numbers that you see, like the appointment set at 1278.2, that was our goal. We're setting appointments at 1486. And again, I'm going to go deeper on that, but I want to give you a layout of understanding first before we go in a little bit deeper on this. Now, from my reports, which are a report section and also doing some math, I'm back up at the top of the slide now. So appointment met to closed is what I zeroed in on today. And I'm going to talk verbally about some other stats that are not on a slide because it gets a little messy. So year to date through October 4th, we are, our buyer conversion year to date, we're converting at 14.37% between the time we meet them and the time that they close, okay? Our goal was 32.46%. Now, how do we get that goal number? Well, we looked at last year, right? When we first set these up and we did the math, we did the calculator, what is it going to take to hit our goal for closings, okay? So that's why the closing goal is a little lower. So we're down by 18.09% between meeting a buyer and getting them closed. How much of that's market? How much is that where we need to build some skills, right? We need to decipher that. I do have some numbers to share with you. I do not have great CSU numbers from last year because some of these stats did not carry over properly until we put a lot of things in place for this year. So these are really good numbers, right? There may be some tech things, maybe somebody didn't fill out a form or, some of those things might be going on, but we keep it pretty tight. So our goal overall is down by 18.09%. Who on this call is feeling that? I know I am a little bit. Anybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're feeling it. We feel it in our wallets, don't we? So it hits us. Now, how much of that do you feel you can do better? What can you do to improve your own conversion? I'm not going to break it down to agent by agent today, but that's why we do our coaching. So what can you do? Think about the things that you can do. Should you go to Script and Role Play and learn the new language of real estate? Should you, use Follow Up Boss more? I mean, what is it for you that you can contribute to your own business to help these conversions come up overall? Because everybody puts a drop of water into it to create this. It's not just the company. It's you guys creating these numbers. So on the seller side of things, moving on, we're at 52.27%. Our goal was 53.28%, and we're down by 1.01% right now for this year. With all the reluctance of selling, the goals are, the goals of met to closed are pretty darn tight on the listing side of things, which, hey, you should be proud of yourselves for that. Overall, you should be proud of yourself for what you're doing anyway, but we always have to realize that there could be some work that we need to do. So don't think I'm just bashing on you. Overall conversion, if you take the buyers and the sellers together for us, it's at 17.07%. Our goal overall was 35.83% from net to closed, and we're at a negative of 19.10%. Now, I don't have the numbers from CSU for last year, so that's one big component I'm missing here to compare the market of the MLS of last year to our numbers last year, and then our numbers this year to what we have. So what I do have is I do have San Diego, Riverside County combined sales, because a lot of our businesses in both of those counties, there's some outliers, right? LA, a couple things here and there, but everything's in here. It's just, you know, we're always, it's not going to be a true number, but I'm always going to be pretty close. So San Diego, Riverside County combined sales are down by 20.32% year over year. Do you guys feel that? Yeah. Okay. So if these numbers were true, we are actually outpacing the market by 1.22% in our met to closed, just the market. I don't believe, though, based on the goals that we set for ourselves, that that is 100% true, just because I don't have good numbers from CSU last year. Okay, so all I have to work with this year. However, I do believe there is a little bit of a punch in the stomach from the market. Some of those percentages are definitely the down percentage of 19.10% definitely is an impact from the market. I can't predict how much, but if you look at the market as a whole, it's down 20.32%. The number I'm missing is how much did we outpace the market last year versus what was really happening in the MLS? I don't know. I don't know that number, but we can all talk to ourselves and say, what do we have responsibility for that we can actually up the burners on certain things? Okay. Any questions on those numbers so far that I've shared with you? No questions? Did I lose all of you? Are you sleeping? I hope not. This is very important for you to know, right? To kind of go a little checkup from the neck up for yourself, for the company, what we're doing, how we're doing it. Now I'm going to slide down here. I'm going to slide into, and I don't have these numbers on the slide again, because it's a lot of numbers, but I'm going to talk a little bit about conversations. And correct me if I'm wrong, but in a follow-up boss, a conversation is anything that you're on the phone for 2 minutes or more. Is that correct? Who knows their stuff?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you, Cherie. So our goal was to, at this point, in order to hit our goals of 400 units, is that we're having 10,225 is that 10,000 or is it 102,000? 10,225 conversations. We're at 6,045. So would you agree, just by looking at it, we're a little bit down in our conversations, right? Now, conversations are all your conversations over 2 minutes, not your unique. Is that correct? Unique means your first conversation.
That's correct. I'm pretty sure it's going to pull it over. So even if we're talking to clients that we're showing homes to and stuff, right, that's going to show up as a conversation.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You are right. Thank you. So what it's saying between our conversations right now and our appointments set is 26.3%. So we need to get that up, right? So we need to have more conversations. But I want to go through a couple things with you. And I want to help you guys realize that skill, I mean, I want you to make the conversation until you get an appointment, obviously. But if you, when you work, when you work on your skills, you have less conversations and more appointments. It just works like magic. So just for an example, okay, out of the 1,486, or out of the 6,045 conversations that were had, 3,338 conversations of the 6,045 were the agent's conversations. 1,592 of the conversations were from the ISAs. Okay, so keep tracking with me here. Out of the conversations where it goes into the appointment set, so we set 1,486 appointments total. Out of those 1,486 and those 3,338 conversations, you guys, the agents, set 402 appointments total for the year to date, all the way to October 4th. Okay. So that means that you're converting your conversations of 3,338 to 402 at 12% is your conversion between your conversations and your appointment set. The ISA's conversations, I mentioned, were 1,592 of those 6,000. So you guys did the majority of the conversations. We could stop right there and say, oh my God, the agents are working way harder than the ISAs, right? They're converting at 68%. So they've converted out of the 1,486 appointments, 1,084 appointments. They work really, really hard on their skills. Yes, they're on the phones 8 hours a day. I get it. You guys have other things going on. But I want to congratulate the ISAs for carrying the weight for us for the most part. You guys are working really hard. I'm not saying that you're not, so don't take me wrong. But guys, if we didn't have the ISAs, where would we be? Where would we be right now? You know, and I'm not saying that you're not working, because you are, and you guys are working hard. It's a tough, tough market. So you're getting punched in the belly left and right. I do believe, though, that you guys could be having less conversations and setting more appointments. The ISAs have proven it in this market. They're setting 68% of the appointments. They're having a lot less conversations, and they're setting 72.94% between set. I'm sorry, they're setting 68%. You guys are at 12 for what you're doing. Okay, so all of us, and I sent this message to the ISAs. I had a meeting with them prior to this call today. They're on track right now, and they're going to lift up their conversations. They're going to have more conversations, even though they convert at a higher level. I said, get it to 70%. Get your conversations to 70%. That's 68, that's 2% higher. That's 15 more conversations each for them to have. Now they can do it with one person, or it could happen with two. But their conversion tells me that it's not going to take that many people to convert at a very high level to set more appointments. So 68% of those 15 each will convert to an appointment set. If I told you guys to set 30 more appointments, right, which is total of 30 because there's 2 of them, it would take a lot more phone calls for you guys to get that person into an appointment. So what do you think the breakdown is? Just curious. Just curious what that is. Is it skill? Do we need to learn the conversation, to tighten up the conversation, to ask for the appointment sooner? What are some of the things that we need to do to make that happen? More time on the phones, more calls. I mean, you guys could be making 10,000 calls, and that would really break my heart if you were converting at a much lower pace. I really want to see your skill sets improve so we don't have to make as many phone calls and we can have a life, right? Phone calls are brutal, brutal. But you all are outpacing the ISAs on phone calls. You're just not outpacing them on the conversion. Okay. So just think about that. Think about what you can do to help with your conversion. Do you need to show up for some training? Do you need to have a one-on-one? What is it? Do you have specific clients that's different than the ISAs and you don't understand, Tina? They're just different. They're not. They're the same. So anyway, let's go on to appointments set to appointment met. As you see between these 2 bubbles here, we're at we're at 74.4% total. Okay. And if I were to break that down, our goal when we set the goals in the goal calculator is always at 80%. So we need to set more appointments to meet more people by the time we set them, time to meet them. Now, some of that is didn't fill out a disposition form or whatever, some of it, but Jen keeps a pretty tight ship on that. So out of the appointment set, of the 1486, as I said, you guys set 402 and you met with 75% of those people. So you had set 27% of the total and you met with 75% of your 27% out of here. Okay. Now with the ISAs teeing up the appointments for you, they had set 1,084 of the 1486, which was almost 73%. And then 73.2% were met. Okay, so you're doing a good job with the handoff, getting it over to you guys, and you guys going out and meeting those people. Awesome. I hope those numbers help just to kind of get your juices flowing. These are the things I look at to help make improvements, find the blind spots, right? I'm like the defensive driver in the company. That's why some people probably don't care for me, because I deliver the bad news. It's not bad news. You guys are doing good. However, there's always room for improvement. Would you guys agree? Okay. All right. So the other thing I wanted to go over to is the buyer's close. Now, if we were not meeting, if we were just meeting our goal at 703 appointments met, do you think we would have the 159 closed right now? No, we would not. We would not have them. It would be way lower. So in the beginning of the year, when we started to shift, if you remember, I was preaching, do more, meet more people, because you're not going to get as many through the eye of the needle, right? Now we need to all challenge ourselves to meet even more people. That means your skills need to be better in the conversation so you can have more appointments. Letting, working more with the ISAs, really embracing the ISAs. They're carrying the weight on this right now. So really embracing them to help you, because they're there to help you. Get those conversions of those METs up, and you will be writing more contracts and you will be closing more deals. It's just the way it works. I lean heavily myself into the ISAs. I am happy to pay the ISAs because my results show it. And I have a lot going on. I help run the company. I'm doing a lot of things and I need them. I need them and I appreciate them and I help train them. So it's really important for me to trust them and to hand some of my stuff over to them. And, all I do is I've only worked with 7 buyers this year. You guys have helped with a lot of the listings that you see there because I've only closed 26 deals so far this year. So all of these are not mine. Some of those are your guys doing it. So congratulations on a great conversion in sellers. Excellent conversion. It means we get, we just get in there and we get it done. So anyway, I wanted to just bring that to your attention. We all need to focus right now on a big push towards the end of the year because things are not going to get easier right now. Interest rates, I believe, are going up. Josh is going to allude to that. He's going to talk about it. We can push this up by, if we can all just try to get everybody take and do 2% more than you've done so far. You can do your own math, but just push it by 2% more. And I think that we'll see a bigger surge at the end of the year for our team. Now, we are outpacing the market if these numbers are correct that I did here, the 20.32% year over year. Sales are down. We're at a negative 19.10 down. So we are outpacing the market by 1.22%, as I said earlier. So again, I'm proud of that. I just think that we could do 2 to 3% better. I really feel it. You guys are great people. You guys are working. And if you're not, have a talk with yourself, have a talk with me and get back on the bus because you won't make it in this market. You will not make it. We have to build the muscle now. Okay. All right. So I'm moving on now. Homes for sale in San Diego County, single family homes active right now to date is 2,914. Months of inventory, we have 1.93 months of inventory at this point. So that's news for your clients that we're still in a seller's market for the most part. And I've got some interesting things to show you guys in a little bit. So 1.93, this is all single family homes now. Let's go into the San Diego condo market. Condos, townhomes in San Diego active right now. We have 1,113 units. We're at 1.42 months of inventory. And if you combine the two, we're at 1.76 months of inventory. Okay. So any questions on that? All right. What is a normal buyer's market, guys? In inventory, it's 6 months of inventory, right? We got ways to go. However, there are some weird things happening in this market, right? And it's more perception than it is reality. We see people, sellers that are freaking out because they were in double digit they were going up in their pricing and they're like selling for 150,000 over, which again drove the prices up. And now we have buyers going, what the heck's going on, right? We're scared. The interest rates are up, inflation, depression, whatever the heck's going on, recession, right? All those little things going around spinning in people's heads. And you guys are the market experts. You are the market experts where you're going to know these numbers. You're going to talk to them about what's really happening in the market. Give them a very clear picture. Talk to them about taking them back to their why, talking to them about what really is the next step for them, helping them to release that fear, finding the right loan programs for them. All those things are coming up. Josh is going to talk to you about it. And they have more options now. So than they even did 2 months ago. So Riverside County, I wanted to go over because we are really digging some roots in Riverside County. I mean, we're starting to see more agents that we're attracting and bringing on board to our family. We're starting to see more business happening out there. Right now, Riverside is at a little bit more inventory than we have in San Diego right now for single family homes. They're at 5,213. We're at 2,914 in San Diego. So there's a lot more opportunity out there. They have 3 months of a little over 3 months of inventory in Riverside County at this point. I don't know if any of our inventory this year will ever hit the 6-month mark. In the beginning of next year, will it? I don't know. It kind of depends on when people decide that this is the new normal and we need to move, right? We need to sell, we need to buy, those kind of things. So, all right. So going back to Riverside County, condos and townhomes active right now, 539. We've got 2 months, 2.06 months of inventory. And when you combine that, we've got 2.59 months of inventory in the Riverside County area. Now, here's some quick, I just Googled home, real estate market, and this came up, right? There's all these articles that you see. And I just wanted to just give you a glimpse of what your clients, everybody's reading, right? Your client's father, mother, sister, brother, they're consulting people about, you shouldn't buy now, you should buy now. I mean, it's really, really confusing. And I just wanted to give you just one little snippet of all the news that's coming, and it's very confusing. U.S. new home sales surged 28.8% in August. U.S. home prices fell in July as mortgage rates approached 7%. Mortgage rates rise for a 5th week in a row, hitting 6.29%. Bam, bam, bam. It's a roller coaster ride out there, right? And what is actually the truth, right? Now, the U.S. is different than San Diego. So we have to kind of take a macro view and just understand where people are getting confused. People don't even know what this stuff means, right? And it's really like, oh, it's up, it's down, where's it going, right? So people are just all over the place, right? So it's us to give them the voice of reason and really talk with them and educate them on the market. It cannot be your opinion. It has to be data-driven. It has to be get permission by taking them back to the why, getting them, hey, may I explain to you what's really happening? My clients are all thinking the same thing as you are. We've sold, we've got 225 homes sold this year. We're on track for, you can say 400 or whatever. We still have people buying and selling. And then you can educate them with the information that we provide that you're learning. That's the good information out there. Do you have any questions on that? Any concerns? Oh my gosh, I have the story that's like 30 seconds long that I want to share. Any thoughts? I mean, this is collaborative here, guys. So if you guys have anything you want to say from all the stuff that I've covered so far, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That's how we all learn. Yes, no? Okay. Well, right now I'm going to go into Altos. San Diego County Altos report live. It went right into the website. Wanted to give you just kind of a little bit of a reading on what's happening. So over here on the left side, if you don't know how to read this, it says buyer's market, seller's market. And what this talks to you about is, I call it the gas pedal. It's the gas pedal of pressure, the demand of buyers in the market right now. If it drops to 30 or below, we are considered in a true buyer's market. There's some behaviors of a buyer's market right now. We see some behaviors of that. Sellers are reducing. Sell, please, somebody. The buyers that I'm getting coming through my listings right now, I am getting showings. Showings are a little bit low. Some listings are getting more. They are taking their sweet time. They're not sure. I don't know. We still have a couple more houses to see. That's happening, and I'm sure it's happening to you, right? So we have some scripts for you on that. We're not going to share them today, but come to the classes and we will share those with you, how to get people to take action quicker to write an offer. Then, okay, so I get phone calls from buyer's agents all the time. Well, these guys are going to come in, they might write an offer, but they want to come in $75,000 lower because the market's going down. There's a script for that, right? First of all, when I price, I do my best to stay just a hair under the market if the sellers will allow me to do that after educating them on everything. Most of them do once I walk them through all this data. That's a great time to walk through data is on a listing appointment. Let me tell you, buyer consultation's another phenomenal time, because now every time I call, they're like, should we reduce it? Has the market changed? They are speaking my language, baby. I got them in the palm of my hand, and it's not a sales tactic. It's the truth. You can't have a seller and an agent doing tug of war with what they need to do with their house. Everybody needs to be on the same page, and that's the same with your buyers. So it's the data. I educate up front. I help them be aware of what's happening in the market. So now they're not blaming me that it's sitting on the market for 30 days. I set the expectations properly. You got to set those expectations also with your buyers that way. So I talk about the meter here. This is the buyer demand. As you can see, it's the same in San Diego County as it was last month. It's not going down really. It's not going up. Okay. So we're like neck and neck with the buyer demand is exactly the same as it was last month. What we're seeing over here on the right is the median list price was at $999,000 for houses. Okay. What this tells me right here, median price of new listings coming on. And this is something I use with sellers to make sure that they're not telling me, well, my neighbor sold for $999,000 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, right? Or there's a home priced at $999,000 that went on the market 3-4 weeks ago. Why can't we price it at $999,000? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the market is right at around $979,000 right now of new listings coming on the market. The other thing I want to point out to you guys is in San Diego, 41% of all the inventory is taking a price correction. All of them are correcting their prices. 41% of them, not all of them, 41% are correcting their prices. The national average is 30%. So we are now up above the average of price decreases. Okay. This number down here, price increased at 1%. So that tells you that somebody was able to increase their price and get their price. Okay, so median rents, and I don't want to really talk about that, but I do want to go down here. As you can see, overall, every price point, every size of home, the roller coaster that we're on with the median listing prices. Now I'm going to break it down into market segments, which is the sizes of homes that you see down here. You'll see 1398 square feet, 1886 square feet. You guys can see all those. The red line is the smallest, the bottom line. And the next one up is the gold, teal, and then dark blue. Anything in the larger home space you can see is pretty volatile. It is on the biggest roller coaster ride of pricing decreasing. Okay. But here, I want to show you guys something. February, let's go to January of this year. Let's just say January 7th. The price on the red line was at bottom was $633 for around a 1,398 square foot home. Where's the price today in San Diego? Can somebody tell me?
$699.
Is it up or down?
So
Okay, so we had 2 weeks of inventory for the most part, I believe, if I remember right, in January of this year. What's going on now? Why is the price up? I thought the market was declining.
More of a demand for the smaller homes.
Possibly so. And again, you want to show this data to your clients, but you still want to do comps of the area. Yeah.
Tina, can I say something? So I have buyers in this price point right now. We've been writing. So when you drop down to that 647, the interest rate drops quite a bit. So I've had buyers who were kind of in that, above 647. We just dropped them down, we dropped them down to 647 to maximize that interest rate to keep them in the market. We made an offer this weekend. There was 12 offers. We ended up getting it. But it kept them in single family.
Well, how many offers?
There was 12.
Okay, so guys, there's a higher demand for that size of home,
Yeah.
right?
And you can still stay single family, and there's a huge difference in the interest rate if you stay at 647.
Okay, very good. Thank you for setting that up. Okay, so now we're on see this buyer demand graph right here up at the top. Overall, we're at 56 if you take all the prices of homes, all the sizes. Look what the heck is going on with this? Look at the blue line. These are the larger homes, right? It's really interesting because the demand is higher, but the prices are coming down. The demand is higher, but the prices are coming down on the larger homes. What is that about? I don't know. I'm asking. And then you've got here, let's go back to the bottom line here. Little less demand, it says. It's still higher. It's still higher. Oh, wait, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. The top is 42. Excuse me. I am completely wrong. I'm sorry. So the top is lower. The 56 is our average. The higher priced homes are heading towards a buyer's market of 30. We're at 42.76 on demand. So your demand is a lot lower on the higher priced, larger 3,500 square foot plus homes at 2.6 million up, somewhere in that range. And it's dropping down. They're not buying them, right? So if you have a listing appointment or a buyer around that, you have a lot more opportunity than you do at the red line, which is the smaller home. Smaller homes on the bottom are at 64.11%, which is the average is 56. There's a much stronger demand for those first two lines, which is the gold line is 1,886 square feet and the red line is 1,398 square feet. So you've got a higher demand above the average on those two. Actually all three, even the 1.2 million, you've got a little bit, you've got 58.2 demand over 56 average. Now that's starting to creep down a little bit. As you see, the demands are creeping down, but they're still getting higher prices in those first two tiers. So keep that in mind, guys. It isn't always going to be, okay, here's a 1,386 square foot home. Let's go in $20,000 lower. If Renee had that mindset and that mentality, she wouldn't have gotten even a chance at bat to get that buyer to win that house. Does that make sense? So you need to know this stuff, and also calling the listing agent and asking them those questions, right? Asking them what's going on. Okay. Anybody have any questions on this before I move on?
Hey, Tina, I do.
Yes.
On the homes priced like 2.5 and above, 2 million and above.
Yeah.
Does it compare how many are on the market now to say this time last year? Is there more in the market, less in the market at that price point?
Okay, so we can go to inventory. Let's take a look at that. And we can look at the market segments there. It doesn't split them up, does it? But overall, we can just kind of, why doesn't it split them up into market segments?
That's fine. As long as we see it's going up or down, I wonder.
Yeah, so this time last year,
Yeah. But you're 220 right now. You're 2020 right now.
oh, sorry.
So October, yeah. So it's up even on the larger homes too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So is the market right now on, the million plus homes, are the prices starting to drop as opposed to the lower inventory, which is still maintaining?
Let's take another look really quick. Okay, so you've got these three bottom lines are your 1,398 square feet all the way to 2,265 square feet, which takes in this dip of the market takes $1.2 million, 689 to 1.2 million. And if I were to go October of 21, we've got 1.2 million on the 2,265 square feet, 1.2 million, and we are at 1.3 right now over last year. Okay. Gold line, we've got 1.3 this year, and last year this time we're at 1.2. I'm sorry, 819. Man, I'm looking cross-eyed today. 819. I've been looking at numbers since 8 o'clock this morning. 819, and then we've got 898 at this time on the gold line there, which are your 1,886 square feet homes. And then we've got $630,000 last year, 1,398 square feet, 689 now. So see, I mean, there's definitely some movement. Is this to a science? It should be, because they extrapolate the data right from what's happening. But it gives your buyers and sellers a clearer picture of what they need to do. Again, I still would do community comps, kind of compare house to house. This is overall all of San Diego. Okay, so you could break it down to zip code and it might be a different story. Let's try one. Now, I don't want to run too late on this call today, but let's go ahead and go pick a zip code, somebody. And let's just see. This is San Diego County overall.
92057.
92010.
Wow, 92010 is what I heard. So let's go with that. 92010. Okay, let's look at Carlsbad. They're at 53 for buyer demand overall. San Diego's at 56. I don't know what's going on here, why that's doing that. That doesn't normally do that. Let's try a different zip code. I'm not sure why that is like that. So maybe there's nothing coming on. All right, so let's look at 92009 just for a better example. They're at 40 on the demand. So demand is down overall over San Diego County. We are at median price 1.9, dropping down now to 1.875 of new listings coming on. We've got 59% of the market is decreasing their prices. San Diego County, remember, was 41% overall. So it's the demand is down. And let me look at this and see what's happening with the higher priced homes, and see it's a little bit different picture, right? Still going down, but we've got a little upswing happening right here. And over October, top end 2.6 million. We're now at 2.7. So we're actually up over October of 2021. It looks like all across the board. But demand is starting to drop. We don't know what this is going to do. We don't know if it's going to go south on us or if it's going to continue to edge up. Okay. So it's a different story when you have a big view of San Diego County. I want you to talk to people about that. Then I want you to take them down to the zip code they're looking in or they're wanting to sell in. Then I want you to take them down to the community. Then you can make better decisions on what you need to do. Sometimes it is confusing. Sometimes you don't have good comps. Sometimes these numbers look like way out of pace sometimes, but usually it gets pretty close. And having all this data with your buyers is going to be so helpful to write the right offer for that particular house. Okay. All the way down to that conversation with the listing agent. That's the order. Okay. Anybody have any more questions? Curious about a different county? Anything? We're running a little short on time, so I wanted to keep going here. Let me get out of this somehow. Let's see, how do I get out of this? I think I have to move my thing out of the way. Any questions, concerns, more feedback? Thank you, Renee, for participating. That's what this meeting is all about. And just want you guys to, get the best information you can to be able to help your clients better. All right, so now I'm going to move on to the next slide. And it's going to segue into Josh's talking today. So I just want you guys to bear with me. We're almost ready for Josh to hit the stage. This is out of Keeping Current Matters. It only took it through July, but kind of gives you an idea of what's happening. Appreciation slowing, not depreciating. So appreciation is slowing. That's the conversation. It's a deceleration. We are not in a market where it's taking a nosedive, right? So as you can see how it's moved, appreciation, these are the factors here: 19.1, 20, 20.9, 20, 20.2, 18.3, and now 15.8. It's cooling down, right? We've got a depreciation happening. We've got, but we still have appreciation happening as well. So we should come out at the end of the year. There's some stats in Keeping Current Matters. I don't think I pulled those today, but for folks, they need to know that they're actually still going to have, it's not going to be below their double digit climb in values. If you're talking to a seller, they actually are going to come out. I've seen anywhere between 6 and 8%, maybe even 9. Different people predict different things. So it's going to land somewhere around there, I would imagine, as far as appreciation. So for your buyers, what is the message for them? We're not going to see a 2008 or 7 or 6, whenever that happened, right? We're not going to see that. People are still going to have appreciation. And by the way, it'll get back more to normal. It's predicted in 2023. So getting in the market now, right, is the best time with the interest rate that we have today, with the programs that we have available to you today, because I know that some of these programs, once things get back to normal, and Josh can probably vouch for me on this, they'll go away because they're creating things for us to make it work. So the other thing I wanted to bring up before I hand the baton over to the mortgage side of things is median household income, according to Keeping Current Matters. This is now, again, over the whole United States, is right here. The blue line is the median income, is a column 1, which is the blue line, and the qualifying income for loans is in the second column. Out west, which is, I believe, where we are, doesn't mean San Diego, just says out west, 98,498 median income, and it takes 141,552 for qualifying income. I don't know what all that means, but I'm going to hand it over to Josh here. And the only thing I want to leave you guys on is expand your search area for your buyers if they're willing. Talk about their criteria, take them back to their why. Try to find something that's going to fit for them. Explore alternative financing options. Look for any grants, gift funds, etc. And then there's a website here called downpaymentresource.com. I have not gone in there. Maybe Josh knows about it. I don't know. But now I'm handing it over to Josh and he's going to take over. Do you have slides or do you just want to talk, my friend?
I'm just going to share my screen a couple times and share with you guys what I got going on. So happy, what day are we on? Happy Wednesday, guys. Hope you're having a phenomenal week. And man, it is an absolute fantastic time to buy a house. I'll crunch some numbers for you guys that I think you'll find useful. But before I do, just wanted to go over a couple things. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you exactly where we are rate-wise. I'm going to talk about rates real quick. You guys all know I am a genius when it comes to, there it is, I hit the wrong button. Why does it not share all of my screens?
Oh, believe me, I fight with Zoom. Is it those little squares you're trying to
You
find?
gotta change your tab, Josh, I think.
Yeah, you got to play with the
Fine.
tabs until you get it.
Usually there's a little share screen. Here's the share screen button and it brings up all your things and it's not wanting to. Okay, there we go. That works out really well. Why is this not doing it?
You just had it, Josh.
Yeah, it
Oh,
came
did
up
I? But
first.
was it
Came up for
sharing
a
my?
second. It was sharing your screen, yeah, but I can't tell you what it was because it went away quick.
Right. You know when you do the share screen and it comes up and it shows all the things you can choose on?
Yeah.
You can choose.
You
It's not
tried
giving me
choosing.
that.
Yeah. Is the screen you want on those boxes?
No, that's the problem. It's-
Okay,
and
so
usually-
you need to go out, look, clear up your tabs to the ones you want. I just played with it and it finally worked for me yesterday. It was crazy. It wouldn't even come up as a choice, but then it
So
finally
odd.
dialed into a choice.
Okay, well, let's see what happens like this. Can you guys see my market
Yes.
conditions?
Yes.
Oh, you can.
We see something that says
We see
calculators,
calculators.
markets, updates, real
Yeah,
estate.
yeah. Okay, cool. That's usually not how it highlights it on the other Zoom that I use. So
Okay.
anyways, hey, what we're looking at right here, guys, this is the mortgage-backed security bond market. And you hear about this in the videos if you guys watch them. But the mortgage-backed security bond market, that's what controls all fixed rate loans. So when you hear one of your clients say, oh, the Federal Reserve is raising the rates again, historically, that's great for interest rates. That's what we want. And you say, well, what happened? What in the heck happened last time? Because the Fed raised the rate, 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden interest rates just took an absolute nosedive. Well, it wasn't from the Fed raising its rates, it's from Jerome Powell. He came out and made comments the day after, actually the night after, raising his rates and said, hey, we don't have a handle on inflation and we're not sure when we're going to. Well, markets hate uncertainty. And so they just absolutely nosedived. Interest rates jumped up literally a half a point in a single day. It was an absolute bloodbath last week. So here's what, if you guys can still see this, and I got to move this tile so that I can see what the heck I'm talking about. So this is your mortgage-backed security bond market. This is a 90-day snapshot, okay, of what happens. And you can see interest rates are coming here. Actually, let me go to this 1 year. You'll see right here in June to August, rates were actually improving. And I was looking at Tina's graphs, by the way. By the way, I love those numbers. I'm a numbers nerd, so I was really geeking out of that. Thank you, Tina. Rates were improving. You could see the tick up and improvement up until August on some of those numbers. And then all of a sudden in September, the entire month of September, when it's going down, that means the price of the bond is going down, which drives rates up. They work adversely. But we hit this crazy, horrible bottom at the end of last, or was it Wednesday of last week on the 26th? And then since then, the bond has been trying to fight back and trying to regain some of the interest rates. So we're hopeful that this is the bottom and we start to see some improvement from there. But nothing improves in a straight line. We're going to have ups and downs all along the way. You can see how fast right here, how fast interest rates went down and then how slow they come back up, how fast they go down and then how slow they come back up. So it's going to be a couple quarters before we start seeing actual, consistent improvement to interest rates. Can you guys see that screen?
So your buyers are a couple quarters away and there might be some stipulations on when they can refi. Do they have to be in the home a certain amount of time?
Great questions. Yep. So for VA clients, it's 200, VA and FHA clients, you guys, it's 210 days from the time they purchase the house. So that's 7 payments. 7 payments are going to have to make on this higher payment. And we can't guarantee anything. But if what we know about market history is correct, we're usually only in a down market for about 24 months. And during that time, it's usually the first 7 months where you take the biggest hits. And then you start coming out of that over the next, 17 months, right? So the whole reason why rates are going up, and you guys have probably heard this, and it's getting nauseating, is because of inflation. Can you guys see this chart right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So this bar right here is 2021. This bar is 2022, and it talks about the percentage of inflation that's going on. And this is why it's so important. This is why we know in the fourth quarter of 2022 and definitely into the first quarter of 2023, inflation is going to start evening out, right? Because it's always a year-over-year inflation report. So if you compare January of 2022 to January of 2021, it's a drastic inflation number. It went from 1.4% to 7.5. Same thing with February. Same thing with March, April, May, June, July, August, 5.3 to 8.3. These are big differences. Well, once you start getting into November and December, and you're comparing 6.8 to 8, 7 to 8, and then you get into January, 7.5 to 8. These big drastic differences start to dissipate. The market starts to moderate, and you can actually see some positive gains on inflation. So hopefully we go into a depreciation type situation when it comes to all the costs of our goods. And you're starting to see other reports where the supply chains are coming. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Nike said they're going to have to start slashing their cost of their shoes because now they've been ordering shoes for so long. And now, because the price of gas, housing, food, everything, people can't go out and buy as many shoes. So now they're getting these big supplies. And you're going to start seeing that in other industries. Apple laying off 2,000 people. These different Facebook laying off 4,000 people. You start seeing this negative economic news, which interest rates love negative economic news. That's why during COVID, we had 2 years of just unbelievable rates because people were freaking out because the world's being shut down. Right? So once the unemployment numbers start to climb, once you start seeing the people that file for unemployment claims start to go up, once you get into the fourth quarter and first quarter of 2023, you'll really start to see a good positive improvement on mortgage interest rates. Okay, and that's a big deal for many reasons. And the reason why I said it's such a great time to buy right now, I get it. It stinks. It stinks that there are super high rates. It stinks. It's no fun. But the reality is that if you can get, I know you can't get this on all of them, like Renee's deal that she just got her offer accepted. It was listed at 600,000. They bought it at 647, I believe, and couldn't get any credits on it, right? That stinks. But out of our 7 fully submitted purchase loans right now, 6 of them have credits covering closing costs of some sort. In fact, 6 of them all have the 2-1 buy down, right? We have on one of the 2-1 buy downs, we have $30,000 of credit from the seller. $30,000 of credit from the seller. And what that is, it's $15,000 to cover the 2-1 buy down and another 15 grand to cover their closing costs. So these clients are walking in to a house with just their down payment out of the pocket. Why is that so big? If you take a calculator out and you see $15,000 of credit towards your closing costs that just 6 months ago, they had to pay out of their own pocket, right? I mean, how many times were you guys getting credits 6 months ago? Very rarely.
No,
Well,
never.
right? Well, if you get a $15,000 credit and you divide that by 12, that's $1,250 per month that you just saved. And I get it. It's a play with numbers, but it's a reality, because if you refinance this thing in 12 months, you just saved $1,250 per month. Well, it depends on how many months you actually had the property, but that is a huge, drastic savings that you would have never had.
Now, I want to stop that. Wait, stop. Did everybody catch that? Did you catch that? Negotiated 15K. It's 1,000 what per month savings to that buyer?
$1,250 per month over
Right.
12 months.
But they're paying a little bit higher interest rate, which might have impacted their payment by what? $300 to $400 a month?
Yep.
Are they still ahead?
Oh, absolutely. So if, let's say your payment is $600 more per month, right? $600 more per month, well, that's $7,200 over 12 months. If you save them $15,000 over 12 months, they still come out way ahead. Now, they got to have faith that interest rates are going to improve. And I tell you what, you guys, anytime you send a client my way, when we start talking about rates, I share these numbers with them, because I got to get them believing that there's better days coming for interest rates, right? And if you look at any single time throughout history, rates go up and they come back down, or they come down and they go back up. There's always peaks and valleys along the way. They never just go up and stay up. That's not how it happens. They never go down, they just stay down, right? So you got it. Part of speaking with these clients, and you guys got to be careful what you're getting into, because you start saying things like, they'll hold you accountable. But part of understanding the markets is, especially on the mortgage side, is that right now, yes, it's going up, but look what you get. Look what you can get from sellers. And guess what happens to home prices and your ability to negotiate when rates go back down? You're going to rate till 4.5% to get back into the market and buy a house, and you're going to lose out on credits. And think about what the media is going to be doing when rates start going back down consistently. Rates are going down, rates are going down, rates are going down. That's all anyone's ever going to hear. And then all of a sudden, people are going to get back on the buying train. They're going to flood the market all over again, right? And you think it's going to be easy to get your offer accepted at that point? Not a chance. There's no way. And I'm not saying it's going to go back to where it was, just 8 months ago, but still, it's going to make it more difficult to get credits. It's going to make it more difficult to get your offer accepted. You're definitely not going to be lowballing anybody. So knowing those numbers is huge. If you can get a $15,000 credit, it's literally $1,250 off per month. And if you really want to get technical, okay, my payment's $500 higher. Okay, great. Understand that $6,000, $6,250, or I'm sorry, $9,000 that you saved instead of $15,000. Does that make sense? Those are all the things that I'm talking to the client about when we're going over numbers. Another one, if you guys don't understand how the 2-1 buy down works, it's an absolutely fantastic program. It really is. The interest rate, the first 12 months is 2 points lower. So if you're locking in a 5.75% VA 30-year fixed rate loan, you're at 3.75 for that first 12 months. You're at 4.75 for that second 12 months. On a $650,000 loan amount, that's an $800 difference on payment. So if you can get credit and you can get the 2-1 buy down, I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. I understand it's hard to get these things on every single deal. Maybe you're looking for properties that have been on the market for 20 days plus. Maybe it's not that super cute property that Renee just got her clients accepted on, but it's it's out there. It's possible. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys, there's limits on seller credit. If it's FHA can get 6% of the purchase price in a credit towards closing cost. 6%. So if you had
Has that gone up, Josh? Because it didn't used to only be 3? Or no?
So VA loans is 4%.
Yeah.
And conventional loans is 3% if you're putting 5% down, but it goes up the more you put down. So if you have a $500,000 home That's $30,000 that you could get for credits towards closing costs. You could do that for a buy down. Maybe they're not into the 2-1 buy down, but maybe they want to pay points. I mean, you
Josh,
could pay-
type
Yep.
this up and send this over, because
Oh, for sure.
the agents need to know this, because then we want them to obviously ask for the right amount of credits. This is a new market, right? We
Yep.
didn't even talk about credits in the last 2 years.
Right.
So it'd be great for you to send that over. Keep going through it, but I want you to send it over so we can use it social media. We can use it with our clients. We have conversations. We can use it when we
Yep.
write contracts, those kind of things.
Yep. And I'll send it over. I'll also send links to, government websites that verify it. So you guys can, hand that out to clients or listing agents that don't believe it. I mean, you get all kinds of pushback and that kind of stuff. But it's true. So you can literally get $30,000. Well, you can buy down the rate. You can do 2-1 buy downs. You can do a buy down the rate with a 2-1 buy down, and get all the closing costs covered with $30,000. And if it beats the seller doing a price reduction because the property is just not moving, if it takes it from 500,000 to 470, or if it's 500,000 with a $30,000 credit, it's still the same net to the seller, right? So 2-1 buy downs. Oh, go ahead, Tina.
Oh, no, I'm gonna miss my question here. Couple things. Oh, name, it went out my head. For the seller side of things, right? For me listing or any other listing agents on the call, it's good to put something like that in the listing instead of reducing the price. Is that what you just said?
100%.
Okay.
I've got multiple agents on the listings right now. They'll say this property is 2-1 buy down eligible, or 2-1 buy down, participant. And a lot of agents don't know a lot about the 2-1 buy down, so it makes them inquire about it. And they'll say, hey, call this guy over here. I'll explain the entire program to you. But it's definitely something that's a great way to get people interested in a property.
Good. Brian just asked the same question that was on my mind to ask you as my second question. Can you refinance if you're in that flow of the 2 years, the 2-year time period?
Here's why it's so cool. Let's say it's what happens is in a 2-1 buy down, the seller is actually taking, and I'm just use nice round numbers. Let's say the 2-1 buy down costs $15,000. Okay, it's equivalent to like a $650,000.
And the buyer can pay for it too if they have it.
No,
I mean,
no, they
no,
can't.
Buyer cannot. Okay.
Only the seller can. And there might be some other lender out there that's figured out how to do that, but all the lenders that we have, so we've got 8 different lenders, and only 4 of our lenders even offer this right now. And they can't figure out the disclosure part to make it so that the buyer can pay for it or an agent can pay for it. So right now it's only the seller.
Well,
right?
here's how they pay for it. You lift the price if it allows for it, and it'll still appraise.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Where was I going? What was the question again?
Sorry.
Oh, can they refinance? So the answer is yes, but here's why it's so cool. So that $15,000 that the seller paid to put into this little tiny escrow account that is held by the lender, that's the homeowner's money. So if they refinance this thing at 210 days and there's still $9,000 in that account, that $9,000 gets applied towards their principal balance on the payoff, which is just another cool selling tool for the buyer, right? It doesn't help the seller, obviously, but it does go back to the buyer. So you can absolutely refinance during the 2-1 buy downs. That's the 2-1 paying points. You guys, it gets really expensive to pay points, just a heads up. And there is no exact answer. There's no 1/2 point gets you, $3,000, because it changes every single day based on the market conditions. But it is something we always bring up to clients that they have an opportunity to do. And one cool thing is that, if you're doing a home inspection, it comes back, there's a lot of things that are wrong with the property. You want to ask for a $30,000, seller credit at that point. You can do the 2-1 buy down with that seller credit. You can do pay points. You don't have to start the loan on the 2-1 buy down. You can enter into that thing at any point of the transaction.
Nice.
Yep.
I learned a
And
lot.
also, I just want to add to what all the things that Tina was saying earlier. When it's slower, take the time to read absolutely everything and be the absolute expert in your industry. Throwing out stats and giving them all the information and overcoming all the fear and the objections, it's so huge. Gobble up as much information as you possibly can, and then present it at the right time.
Yep. Amen, brother.
Any other mortgage questions? Anything I can help out with?
Everybody good? Hello, everybody. We have a lot of people on. We have 22.
Yep.
Yes, thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah,
Help
buddy.
me to get my clients to stop hesitating on writing offers that someone else swoops in before ours gets in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If-
Yeah.
Oh.
The thing that's happening too is like, what's your
Yeah.
hesitation? I just say, ask them, what are you waiting for?
Yep. Last thing I did want to share with you guys, because again, I'm 100% confident that rates are going to be going down in the future. So just give you guys to give them a glimpse of hope on what what their rate could be, right? So let's say we're doing a 30-year fixed rate loan. Let's say they're buying a $647,000 home, since Renee just got one accepted, and they're doing 0 down VA. Right now, their payment is going to be an estimated $4,546, right? $4,546. Well, let's say rates, and I'm fully confident this is going to happen. Rates for a VA loan, maybe not a conventional loan, but a VA loan will at some point get back down to 4%. When it does, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, it lowers their payment down to $3,859. Okay, that's $687 difference in monthly payment. So yes, it stinks to buy a home when the rates are higher, but you could refinance on the way down, and it's a substantial difference. And then people might say, oh, but it costs money to refinance. Okay, $1,100 in lender fees, $1,600 in title and escrow fees, right? Your impound account can cross over or you get refunded for it. So it's not some expensive process, and it's not nearly as hard or stressful as purchasing a home. So I really truly believe, and I'm going to tell every single client I talk to, it is a phenomenal time to buy a house. If you can get credits, if you can get in, VA, FHA, 3% down, 5% down. They couldn't even get an offer accepted 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And now you can. That's incredible. When rates go back down, it's not going to be, it's going to be super hard.
Yeah, and you're going to be up against 20 offers plus again.
Right.
And some are right now. I mean, that's still weaving through the market, right?
Yeah. Renee just had 12 offers on her property that they had to beat out. It was bonkers.
Yeah, I had one that was 9.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is that there are those buyers that are committed right now because they're expecting rates to go up even more. And so they're qualified, they know what their payment's going to be. And so they're motivated. And so we've got competition still at that price point.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear Siri and Tina's opinion or thoughts on San Diego being insulated only in a sense that one, it's such a great town to live in, but two, you look around, where do you build more homes? And people aren't moving out of San Diego, which I'd love to see that stat.
We're always going to have a much greater demand here. Even when the market crashed, I mean, some of the inland areas really suffered, but our swing back in the coastal areas was so liquidy, it was quick. And we didn't go down as much as other areas. So I think that we do have some insulation. I don't think we're foolproof protected, but our downtimes are a little shorter than others, and but still it's a shift and it spins people around, and it's a mental game for our buyers. It's a mental game for us as agents to make sure that we help them get in alignment with the truth and really show them the opportunity that they have. Really opening up the opportunity. But if you buy into the negative news, you're not going to even see the opportunity yourselves,
Totally.
So it's all about your mindset first, and then helping them to create that perfect mindset. Have them talk to people like Josh so he can walk them through the options. Yeah, doesn't hurt anything. If they come out of the end of that conversation and they're still like, no, then they're just not motivated enough to move forward. Bottom line. He just dropped some amazing golden nuggets today that can help so many of our buyers to achieve home ownership when in the future, they may not even be able to buy it at that time. Now is the time, right? Now is your opportunity time, folks.
Absolutely. Great time to buy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh and Tina.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.